Hello, this is Killetch, and this is my first video. I'm pretty amped up. I'm pretty excited to start giving you guys content for COD. I've been playing COD since Call of Duty 4, Final Prestige on pretty much all the Call of Duties except for World at War, I think. And yeah, I was in Master League. I kind of took a break from League play for a while. Just started it back up again, but basically this channel is mostly about helping you guys improve, also probably following the competitive scene a little bit and some other random stuff, but yeah, let's go into the main focus, which is of course helping you guys improve. And today's episode we're going to be going on how to reduce the amount of time it takes to kill an enemy. This is the #1 skill, or at least in my mind, the #1 skill in Call of Duty is killing and doing it quickly. I'm going to say that aim is what I believe to be the #1 aspect of this particular subject. We're not going to go into that because that pretty much deserves its own video, as well as map awareness. That's probably the second. I would, or it's debatable, but I would see that as the second most important thing. It might be first, but we'll go with second. Second most important thing, and that requires like multiple videos to go over because it is a big subject and there's a lot to it. But some things that we will be going over this video is expecting or anticipating engagements around every corner, or if you have good map awareness, all the corners that matter. I know when I'm not doing quite as well, it's usually because I'm not anticipating my gunfights. I would encourage you, if you happen to be not doing well in a particular match, to think, did I expect this engagement to happen every time you die? And if not, then you should be expecting those engagements around every corner, or the ones that you know that will are highly possible that could end up happening. Also, ADSing around corners. For those of you who don't know what ADSing is, it is aim down sights, and you want to do this before you hit the corner. And then you strafe over and you're already ADSing. If it's a decent distance and the enemy has to ADS, that's milliseconds that you gained that the enemy's gonna have to waste in ADSing. So that's another thing. Sweeping corners, I think, is a huge thing, which what I mean by this is whether you're ADSing or you're firing at the hip, having your crosshair where the enemy's going to pop up as you go around a corner. We'll show this in the footage, and I'll go over it again in a little bit more detail so you can understand. Another thing that I haven't really heard any YouTubers touch on, not to say that it hasn't been talked about, but staying too close to cover as you peek is actually something that can well, let me put it this way. Enemies can see you when you can't see them a lot of times if you're close up to cover as you peek. This probably isn't so much of an issue if you're using an SMG and you're just like hitting the corner really fast, but if you got an AR and you're taking it slow and you're kind of slowly peeking out, it could make a difference. I'll show you this in the footage as well. And another thing, of course, is weapon selection. That could be huge on how long it takes to drop an enemy. What you want to do is know your weapon strengths and try to force engagements that capitalize on said strengths. So if you have like an SMG, of course, you're going to try to control the engagements to where you're getting close range engagements. If there's a long range engagement, you're probably going to want to pull back because it'll probably take some AR player a lot less time to drop you in that distance than it would for you with an SMG. So you probably want to retract from that engagement. And then opposite goes goes the same way basically. If you have an AR, you want to control the engagements to be a little bit longer distance, especially against SMG shotgun players. We got some footage from a buddy of mine winning Reflex. We're going to go into it and see what he does to help reduce some of the time to kill. We're going to look at the milliseconds it takes for him to kill people in certain situations. And yeah, let's get into it. Alright, hopping on board with winning Reflex here. We're going to be taking a look at his gameplay. We're not going to count every kill because some of the kills, the enemies were damaged, or somebody else assisted, or they have explosion damage or whatnot. So we'll be selective about our more 1v1-ish gunfights. Alright, here you'll see he pops up. He doesn't have his crosshair up right away. Takes the guy down in 983 milliseconds. This time he has his, he's ADSing before the guy hits the corner. He's like ready even beforehand, and you'll see that he gets 566 milliseconds on that kill. This one, he sees him on the ladder. He wasn't quite ready for the gunfight, but he did see on the VSAT that the enemy wasn't prepared as well, so that's going to be 1,550 millisecond kill. I do agree with that move because he did see on the VSAT that the other guy couldn't see him. Alright, here he's going to be ADSing. He's waiting around the corner. The guy hits the corner. Since he was already waiting, he's down to 516 milliseconds for that kill. As you can see, consistently, if he's ADS, oh wait, here you'll see that he peeks and he ADSs before he even hits the corner. This will be also a quick kill at 600 milliseconds. You'll notice whenever he has his crosshair up and he's waiting for an enemy and like already prepared, it cuts quite a bit of time off of the amount of time it takes. Here you'll see he sprints real quick, so he's not quite ready, and he ends up dying in 1,300 milliseconds. Usually, or most of the time when he sprints in this game, you'll see that he'll lose the gunfight if he's caught in a sprint. This is pretty typical in general of what happens in Call of Duty. So you definitely want to be prepared for those gunfights. If anybody's curious how I did this test, what I did is I recorded this game at 60 frames a second and counted the frames and obviously just did the math. And that's how I got the milliseconds in this. This time, you'll see he sprints up this ramp, not quite prepared because of that sprint. He ends up dying here. 1,300 milliseconds, which is pretty consistent with what the last guy did. I don't know if it's a rule of thumb, but apparently in this lobby you'd want to be shooting for killing faster than 1,300 milliseconds.
That's another kill.
Here I didn't count these kills because there was a lot of assists in there and whatnot. Here you'll see he reload cancels, which helps him out a lot because a full reload would have taken longer, but even with the reload cancel, it was 1,466 milliseconds. It would have been a lot better to just be prepared for that battle initially. This one he just got caught off guard, period. He did get the assist in 2,000 milliseconds. Now he really goes beast in this game. I am saying like, oh, he died here like because of sprinting and whatnot, but honestly he went insanely beast on this whole game. So I mean, don't look at that as like a negative thing. Everybody does this stuff, but when you can reduce, okay, because basically Call of Duty is a game of odds. You want to usually have the odds for you rather than against you. Here he just got unlucky. The guy was peeking down the deal, and yet again 1,300 milliseconds. Seems like everybody's killing at about that speed. But yeah, the more you can, I mean, it's a game of odds. Like, you do sprint in this game, and you do want to sprint, right? But you want to sprint in times when the odds are that somebody's not going to be there.
EMP up.
Losing Bravo.
I did make a recording to see how long it takes to drop somebody with an SMG, not including aiming time, but just straight up how much time it takes to drop them. With the MSMC, it turned out to be 266 milliseconds, or 0.266 seconds. Here you'll see he drops this guy despite him sprinting really quickly. It was point blank range,
Friendly
which
UAV
does
inbound.
reduce the amount of time that it takes to kill somebody. That'll be 780 something milliseconds to drop that guy. Coming up here, we're going to be looking at the kill overview. Here we got, as you'll see, when he was ADSing, waiting for those enemies to hit the corner, he had the least amount of time to kill. When he was hitting corners, ADSing, he also had really good times. There was one where he was sprinting, but since he was point blank, he took him out really quickly. Usually when he was sprinting, he had a disadvantage for his gunfights. They were more challenging. When he was expecting but not ADSing, he still had pretty good times. When he did the reload cancel, ladder climbing, and when he was off guard, all these took quite a bit longer and were in the dangerous range as far as time to kill. For anyone wondering, winning Reflex went 41-7 in this first round that you watched, and total at the end of the game 59-23. Going into this next clip, you'll see that the bottom player is tucking behind the wall. He's like almost directly against cover. He cannot see the enemy on the top, but the enemy on the top can see him, and yes, the enemy on the top would be able to kill him. These two videos are synced. They're synced pretty well. They'll probably be off of a few milliseconds or whatever, but all in all, they're pretty darn synced. And then you'll see as player one at the bottom creeps out a little bit. You should right about in a second. There you go. Okay, so player one can see the full body of player two, or the top player, and the top player can't see the shoulder of the other player. So there is an advantage that you could have by standing next to a wall, but I don't think this is nearly as bad as the disadvantage because the enemy sees you before you see them. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. Also, in the comments, if you can let me know the things you liked and the things that you disliked. Please be reasonably nice about this. There's a lot of little issues that I saw in my own video that I would like to change, but I would like feedback because ultimately all these videos are for you guys and I want them to appeal to you guys. So yeah, any problems, little things you think I should tweak or change? Am I talking too much at the beginning and not putting enough game footage? Stuff like that. Leave me a comment, let me know what you guys think.